Okay, today we are looking at invasions. This is allegedly volume 1, though there'll never be a volume 2. Including the Into the East expansion, came with the game. Now this one is really controversial, and people are probably going to say, based on your last video and how you're getting annoyed playing stuff you don't really like, this is crazy. Because when this came out and out of the box, it's totally unplayable. I reckon it's got the record for the most errata ever. Even the setup sheet had something like 60-70 errata on it. Allegedly, they said they sent the wrong copy, an unproofed copy of the setup to the printers, and that was the result. The rules, they've all been revamped as well, and I am now informed that this game is playable. Whether it's enjoyable is going to be another matter. Well, let's have a look at the components. Board, great. The only problem is it's a little bit too small, because there are areas where they're big stacks. I don't know if you could get around that. Maybe the game board could have been about a quarter size bigger, but that would have made it difficult to do because it's about a mounted mat board. But the actual mounted mat board itself is great. Now the only real issue was the province borders, which were almost impossible to see. They're quite clear on the Into the East expansion map, because not only are they done with a red line, but they've also got these like red, very faint red sort of stripe things across them. But on the main game they were awful. Now I've gone over them all with a red felt tip pen to make it obvious where all the boundaries of all the provinces are. Otherwise, well, I say provinces, and they're referred to as areas usually, but occasionally they're referred to as provinces in this game. That's just because of the way it was messed up. Counters are nice, but I'd say they're too big. They're beautiful counters, they're rounded, excellent depictions of all the nation's troops, etc. The actual what is on in terms of terrain, I can't really comment. I think it's, yeah, there's a little terrain key. I'll have to go over this, how all the movement takes place, and etc., and what those terrain things do. There are cards that come with the game. There are event cards. Now some of these are in a darker brown. I'll have to check all that up. As you can see, the card stat places are only on the expansion, so if you only have the main game, which is this map here, you would have to put your cards to one side. Now this game is not necessarily complex in the basic rules of the game. It's the mechanics that make this a nightmare, because it's all well, I'll say all of it. It's pretty much predetermined that certain nations, like a barbarian nation, will be pre-programmed to do something, that it will attack and try and occupy certain areas. You've got the ones across the back there, they're the barbarians. They're just hordes at the moment. They're not nations, but they can become nations. As the Roman Empire falls into ruin, a lot of these hordes will take over. Now the mechanics for the Roman Empire, do you think the Romans dead strong at the start? They are, but they've got massive mechanics built into them which will cause them to decline. So the red player starts off in a fantastic position, but gradually gets, when I say red, yeah, I better explain this. There's 4 groups. There's red, bluey, grey, green, and gold. And these are the 4 sides that are fighting over this game trying to achieve the most victory points. I probably won't be that bothered about victory points. I just want to play this game out and see what happens, rather than search to get the optimum victory. Mechanically, again, you've got each one of the civilized states has got sort of mechanics built into it as well, which direct it along historical lines. I doubt you'll get anything like one of those computer games where any nation played the right way can conquer the entire board. I don't think it's going to turn out that way. That was not the intention of the designers. I think the designers went for something and they realised it was just too big, too crazy an idea. Actually, just spotted something. I wonder where that counter was. And the game sort of just... I don't think it was ever properly tested or anything in its original form. No. It's got some bad reviews. I did try and play it originally, but I had to give up because of the state the game was in. So we continue just looking at bits and pieces. Got lots of marker counters. They're really good quality, excellent stuff. You've got all your cards for your various nations. Now, I'm not sure how many errors these cards have got on them, but I'm going to be using a revised version of the rules and everything. Hopefully that'll all be revealed. I can't think of anything else to say really, components wise. Yeah, the cards look great. Everything looks brilliant about it components wise. It's when you come to the rule book and the appendices where it's just a disaster. So it'd be interesting to see what people have done to it to make the living rules actually playable. The reason I'm going for this is it's something I've always wanted. I've always been very interested in the fall of the Roman Empire. It's a fascinating subject. And this is the only game, as far as I know, that even attempts anything like that. You've got Rome Imperium 3, which does have scenarios that cover the fall of Rome, but it doesn't attempt a campaign game like this. And also, if you see my review of that game, it's pretty much a disaster because of the way they've the deluxe version is. It's made the game worse. It's made the game much harder to play than it was before, and it was already a hard game to play. So if we span this out, it's quite a big game. This is a 10-foot by 4-foot table, and these aren't all the nations that come into play. There's another stack of nations that can make an appearance, from everybody's favourite, the Huns. There's tons and tons of stuff. A lot of nations that you'll recognise as being part of the formation of Europe as we know they are now. So yeah, we'll give it a go. I'm not that optimistic about this game, but I want this to be good, because if you ever seen my playthrough of Europa Universalis, I think is it The Price of Power or something like that? I forget the full title now, but that is a masterpiece, and it tries to do something similar to this and does it really well. Now the thing is, they had the advantages they were building on top of a computer game, and they just convert it into a board game, whereas this is something entirely new.